You guys are awesome. So awesome. With that out of the way, here are 8 reasons Silksong is going to be amazing. 8 counterpoints to my original video. There were quite a few Ori 2 haters in the chat, but if nothing else, one thing that Ori 2 did really well was its percentage completion check. Every biome had its own percent checker, making it much easier to hunt down your last points. I didn't like that the value was given immediately. It was a lot more satisfying to unlock percentage in the Black Egg Temple, but the idea was definitely there. What I'm saying is, a world sense that told you biome by biome what you had left would make the end of the game a lot easier to navigate. For me personally, I had a friend to ask, who was for the most part following my playthrough, but for Silksong, having a biome by biome indicator would be really nice. The best part is, though, there's a good chance that something like this exists. Like I said in the last video, getting your last few percentages in Hollow Knight is rough. There's a very good chance Team Cherry was aware of this, and I'm sure that they've got a great solution in their heads. One thing we need to remember, or I guess since I made the first video, I need to remember, is that Team Cherry is really smart and really good at what they're doing. With a system like Ori 2's percentage meter, or a new idea that they came up with, Silksong could be universally amazing, and who am I kidding? Of course it's going to be amazing. Silksong is huge. At the start of development, the fans were guessing it would be roughly 1.5 times the size of Hollow Knight, but now I've seen estimates of 2 times the size and some people saying 3 times even. Do I think Silksong is going to be 3 times larger than Hollow Knight? No, definitely not. But 2 times isn't looking like an awful guess. Now that we've established that Silksong is massive, let's think about what kind of content is going to fill up that space. Here's my prediction for Silksong. Team Cherry likes one-upping themselves, right? Well, Hollow Knight had 3 main endings, and given what we know, it's probably safe to imagine that Silksong will probably have around 4. What does this mean for the game? Well, my guess is that the base ending will be similarly long and complicated to the Hollow Knight ending in Hollow Knight. The other 3, though, those are where the fun will really begin. Silksong is going to have some bosses that are crazy difficult. When I say that, I mean just wow, these bosses are going to be insane. If Seth was as fluid and complicated as it looked, and if enemies are really going to be more involved, as Team Cherry has stated, somewhere, I think, then Silksong is going to have a lot of potential to be harder than Hollow Knight. I'm sure a lot of us remember reaching Godhome and expecting an entire biome to explore, but then realizing it's just a hub. The more thought I put into it, the more I realized that there's a pretty good chance that something like the picture I had in my head of what Godhome would be, an ultra difficult biome with bosses everywhere and exploration tied right to it, the more excited I get for the potential of a really cool endgame. I don't expect myself to play Silksong like I play Geometry Dash, but I do think that the new endgame is going to be really engaging, and I can't wait. Silksong's cast of seemingly important characters is pretty big now. We've got Chakra and maybe a Zelda, we've got Seth, Lace, Shirma, the new version of the Stag. Quite a few characters that have the potential to be the new Zote, Old Stag, Elderbug, Sly, Quirrell, Cloth, or Cornifer. Wow, there are quite a few characters in Hollow Knight, but that's not the point. The point is that there will be even more in Silksong. I'm really hoping that we can get some Sans Deltarune type stuff with the Zelda and Oro, but honestly the massive new cast looks really interesting. Especially Seth, who looks really great and has a happy yet tragic story behind him. There's one guy that Team Cherry has to give the respect it deserves, it's Seth, and I'm glad that they're gonna do that. Anyways, Silksong looks great, with a load of new great characters for this new wave of Hollow Knight content. One really important thing about all these new characters is that with a greater quantity of characters, we have a greater potential for interesting story elements. One of my biggest worries from my last video is that there won't be enough cool story moments in Silksong, but we'll see how that goes. I think we'll probably be alright. If Connection to Hollow Knight was what I wanted, I think the Weavers are a perfect addition because they really were the biggest mystery of Hollow Knight. While I'd love to see some story conclusions, anything new to expand the lore of the universe is welcome, and it really is gonna add a lot to the lore channels of YouTube. While I'm hoping for a lot, I don't need a lot, basically, and as Team Cherry 10s, we probably won't be disappointed. While I really hope that they use the first game to their advantage in the sequel, I know that there's a lot of people, especially from the comments section from my last video, that want Silksong to be a completely independent thing, and I can respect that a lot. I think that no matter what happens, though, Silksong will still be in a good place. Whether they go above and beyond or not, it isn't the biggest of deals. Silksong's combat looks amazing. I don't think anyone is going to argue there. It mixes the simple combat of Hollow Knight with more complicated, varied movesets in other games to create the game, to me, that feels too good to be true. But it is true, and that's incredible. We are likely 4 months or so away from a masterpiece. Now, in the last video, I talked about how I didn't like the tools system. I really can't defend it even still, but someone in the comments said that they can confirm that Silksong's tools at least make sense. I think there's a lot Team Cherry could do with the tools, and I'm excited to see where it goes. As I said in the last video, I haven't seen the second trailer, but I've been told there's a ton of stuff to see. Overall, don't get me wrong, I am still very worried about the tools system, and it was still the catalyst of my previous video, so I still feel very strongly about this. But it seems that a lot of people do enjoy the new system, and I don't think that I'll hate it, at least. One really important thing to me for Silksong is that I don't hate the game, but I don't need to love it. I know that it'll be great because it's more of Hollow Knight, and that's all it really needs to be to already be a great game. If the tool system works, that's amazing. If the tool system doesn't work, the game won't be that much worse off for it. Overall, we'll have to wait and see, but what's the worst that could happen? Team Cherry isn't gonna let us down, or at least they won't let me down. Why do I know this? Because it's Team Cherry. Because they've had many, many years. Because it's the sequel to Hollow Knight. While some people might argue that you can't improve perfect, me and quite a few of you believe that Silksong is going to be Hollow Knight and more. And that's how it sounds like Ari and William are seeing it. Now, expectation management is important, of course, but honestly, I don't need a whole ton. I've been waiting since 2018 for 2.2, and since 2021 for Silksong. And throughout these waits, my expectations have been pretty much reduced to please give me anything at all. A lot of people are saying 2.2 will be out in December, which would be awesome, so if that happens, the wait until Silksong won't be too bad, for me at least. Overall, I think that the Hollow Knight community is generally mature enough to have decent hype management. This game will be great. It won't be perfect, but it will be great. To those of you who don't know, Graig is a playtester for Team Cherry. He's a bit of a troll, but he's quite passionate about Hollow Knight and has had some interesting things to say about Silksong. But the main thing which was brought to my attention after releasing this video, and really was the prompt to make this video in the first place, was this. Yeah, Hollow Knight was a rushed game on a shoestring budget. You have no idea how much better Silksong is. I know that Graig jokes around a lot, but this sounds serious. Man, am I excited. Silksong has beautiful art and better animation than ever. One thing you'll notice if you watch the trailers and demo is that the art style is ever so slightly different. The art is, in general, more detailed slightly and things look bubblier? I'm not really sure how to describe it, but you might know what I'm talking about. At first I didn't love it, but I've really started to appreciate it. It's really clean and gives more potential for set pieces, I think. What's even more notable though, is that there are tons of slightly moving objects in the background and it just looks so cool. I love it. This world is gonna feel so alive and it's awesome. I can't wait for the future of Team Cherry. This art style and really this whole tone really looks interesting to me, but what I like the most is the feeling of climbing upwards. Hollow Knight was all about going down, and Silksong is an inversion of that. I think it'll make an oppressive, magical journey in contrast to Hollow Knight's more exploratory playstyle. The knight never felt in a hurry, but I think with Silksong we're really gonna want to save Hornet just because of this oppressive atmosphere. There also just looks to be a lot of characters that are gonna contribute to this atmosphere. The attention to detail here looks even better than in Hollow Knight. Well, that was an adventure. I'm still blown away by the support the last video got, and I kind of feel bad making a video like this one since it's quite apparent this one isn't as impressive as the previous. On the other hand, I'm glad to finally get it out to you all. My next few videos won't focus much on Hollow Knight, so be aware of that, but I think you guys will still like them. The general roadmap I have for my channel is to basically do a bunch of videos about things in games that I don't think get the attention they deserve. It's a bit more complicated than that, but I don't want to spoil it all. I currently have like 6 more video ideas that I really want to make, and many others to a lesser extent, so I've got content for a while. Until then, I will see you next time.